Hi everyone. Today I wanted to go over the newly updated toolbar that has been put back at the top of Design Space. I'm seeing a lot of questions about text and where some of the options are that used to be there and if stuff got removed. Everything that used to be there is technically still there. It just got switched around a little bit. So let's start with playing with a little bit of text. I am currently in the beta version. But most of this should be the same on the live version. Now I'm going to do text in, oops, no I'm not. I'm going to do text in two different ways. I'm going to do two side-by-side words and an above and below word. Well, maybe, if I can get my mouse to cooperate. Okay. So up here, you'll see it's just a normal text line. You still have all the same options you had before. You can still combine, which allows you to slice, weld, flatten, unite, subtract, intersect, exclude. You have effects now. So before you used to have a button for offset and a button for sticker and a button for warp. Well, now those items are all under the effects tab. Let's say, for instance, we want to offset this particular word. It's the same as before. You can drag your little slider and you'll see the blue outline to see how big your offset will be. And it will also automatically weld your offset. So when it comes in at this dark gray. So you can see it over here in the layers panel. The offset itself is what's selected. I can go up here next to basic cut and I can change the color of that. So again, that didn't really change. It just changed as to where they put it because now it's up here under effects. You also have rotate up here. So you can rotate your text left or right. Or what I normally do is I just do it here on the screen. But as you can see, when you hover over this corner, that little arrow that used to be up here isn't here anymore. So now we got to do it up here with this rotate button. Now you also have a range, so you can move it forwards, backwards, to the front, to the back. You can change the position it's sitting on the actual canvas. You can also flip it. You can flip it horizontally. You can flip it vertically. All of these things were there before. And then now, instead of having a little lock up here with numbers next to it to change your size, you actually have a button that says size. When you click on that, then you'll see that familiar lock and your two boxes where you can change the size of your text. Or you can just use the little up and down arrows and you can change your size that way. You also now have a format button. Format is where you are going to find options like spacing out your letters or spacing out your lines, or the text wrapping option being on or off, and aligning your text box. This is all, again, the same tools that we had before. They're just a little bit nicer looking and they're under one general button. Now you will notice that I'm going to try to move this. That offset is kind of in my way. Okay, now when I go up here to alignment, this three little lines right here is your align. You have right align, you have left align, and you have center align. And then you also have your font type. Remember that if you want to write with your Cricut with using the pens, you need to set this type as writing first. And then go over here to the font name and change it to whatever font you want. You can click this little double line with the circles, and that gives you all your filters that you can pick from. If you want writing, you want to pick the writing filter. That will drastically reduce the amount of fonts that you have to scroll through. And they are still out of whack. They're not in alphabetical order, which is kind of a pain. But if you find fonts that you really like, click this little bookmark button right here, and then that'll put them all in this category that says bookmarked up here at the top. That's super handy when you have a handful of fonts that you use a lot. That way you're not scrolling through that list forever. Now, we want to, maybe we didn't want this to be writing. Let's say we wanted this to just be regular, so it'll cut it out with the Cricut. But we still want to change the font. We want something different. Well, we need to go in and make sure we don't have writing selected because writing won't cut. And then you can just pick a new pick a new one. And you can still drag your corner and you can do your box sizing and change your text sizes that way. It's just not quite as accurate as using the sizing up here at the top. And notice we also still have the belt underneath our selected item. It doesn't matter whether if it's a text box or if it's an image. You're going to have this little band underneath that shows you some of your common options, like duplicating, or you can delete it, you can attach it, you can ungroup it or group it. And then you have little 3 dots here, which give you a whole lot more. This gives you pretty much everything that's up in that top toolbar, but it's on this little side right underneath your item. You can also right click, which of course you can't see because you can't see my mouse, but you can right click. When you right click, it gives you your options for arranging, combining, attaching, flattening, all of the same stuff that you had before. Everything is still there. It just is also on a right click menu as well as being up here at the top. Now, I have noticed we did seem to lose our center alignment for a while, but at least on mine anyway, it appears to be back under this alignment menu. If your center line is gone, right click on your text and then it should be in this little right click menu. So you probably haven't lost it, it just got moved. I hope this really helps you out, at least with text anyway. Your images are pretty similar in the way that the menu works at the top. You're only going to see things in the menu that work for the item that you have on your screen. So if I have this selected, these things up here along the top, those are the option I have for that item. Notice how contour is not an option. Just like down here in this corner, contour is not an option. I don't have something selected here that can be contoured. And the reason for that is because this image is grouped. As you can see, it's got a bunch of different pieces, but they're grouped. So if I want to contour something, I need to select the group, and then I need to go up here and ungroup. Or you could have gone down here and ungrouped underneath it as well. Then I can go in here and pick one item, and notice now I have contour. Did you guys notice the new contour? Now when you have something highlighted to select it, it turns it green. Super handy. You do, however, now have to hit the apply button, so make sure you remember to hit your apply button or the stuff you clicked on won't go anywhere. So now you can see I can take this image apart, I can move all of its pieces, I can use contour. Well, I can if I have something selected. I can use contour, and you'll notice that the same thing happens up here at the top. The contour up here is also highlighted at the top. Now if I select a couple of things, well then I have different things selected. I can no longer contour, but I have my combine menu, so I can slice, weld, flatten, I can do all of those things. I can also go into my effects and I can offset, I can do the sticker feature, or I can warp it. You just have to look around. Sometimes they move our tools to make room for more things or to make things easier. And I think you'll find this really is easier. You just kind of have to get used to it. And if you happen to be working on a small screen, you might find that up here you have a more button instead of having your full list. That's just the side effect of using a smaller screen. Hopefully this helps you all out and it helps you figure out where all your stuff went and where all your tools went. And happy crafting!